Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Paranormal Psychic Wednesdays. This is the New Year's Eve edition for those of us in the United States. Those of you on the other continents, Europe, Asia, Australia, New Zealand, Happy New Year's Day to you. I hope you're all having a great day or evening wherever you are tuning in from. So, just again to give you some background, my name's Eleni, and I've been a practicing psychic medium, astrologer for 30 years now. I wrote my PhD dissertation on the psychic priestesses in Greece. So, one of the purposes of the live is to educate regarding psychic experiences, paranormal experiences. I know I've been saying this the last weeks. A lot of the content that I post is paranormal because on my other one of my other social media channels, that's been the bulk of the interest, but I'm always open to hearing suggestions of content that you would like to see. During the lives or in videos, I do take notes. I do get recommendations of places to go to. Right now, the locations that I go to are in New Jersey, in the United States. Here's my state of New Jersey necklace and, an evil eye and, definitely for the new year, trying to keep the negative toxic energy as far away as possible. Too, my paranormal pilot and trailer are on in the posts section of my YouTube channel too. You can check that out, haunted places to visit as well. And also some other announcements too. So as you're getting ready to plan trips for 2026, July 20th to July 22nd, I am presenting workshops at Lilydale, New York, which is in upstate New York. It's about an hour south of Buffalo, New York. So I would even say book your plans now. Lilydale is a spiritualist community where a lot of psychic mediums live. And thank you for the hearts, everyone. I don't know why this. Okay. So, thank you for the hearts, whoever is sending those. Lilydale is in upstate New York, about an hour south of Buffalo. And during the summer season, it's the summer camp. So every day there's activities to do. It's an hour and a half from Niagara Falls. It's a half hour from Jamestown, New York. If you're an I Love Lucy fan, Lucille Ball was born. Okay, yes. Happy New Year's Eve or New Year's Day to you. That's fine. I didn't, I'm staying in my stream of discussion. Lucille Ball was born in Jamestown, New York. That's about a half hour from Lilydale. Interestingly enough, her grandmother was a psychic medium. My friend Gloria had read for Lucille Ball several times. Too, there's the National Comedy Center in Jamestown, New York that you can check out as well. So there's things to do in the area. You could plan a week trip. I am teaching workshops on how to see auras, astral projection, and psychic astrology. That's Monday, July 20th through Wednesday, July 22nd, too. So, Lilydale is a fantastic town. If you're able to organize a trip, you could plan a trip to upstate New York, as I said. And actually, Lilydale is close to Toronto, Canada. So, if you have a passport and you're in the United States, or if you're traveling internationally, obviously you would have the passport to arrive here to the United States. You can also, as well, drive into Toronto, Canada, too, if you're interested in that. Especially Lilydale is a type of trip when you're looking for answers. You're at a crossroads. The grounds are very healing, as well. So it's Lilydale, New York. Obviously, in 2026, I'll talk about this on various lives too, to remind everyone. The season runs from about June 20th or the 19th this year. I'm going to say it's 2026 here. Hi, Taylor Hodgkin. Until about with Labor Day here in the United States, the season ends. So that's something to think about. So here we are again, wherever. If you can also, in the messages and the comments, June 20th is your birthday. So you are either, you're right on the cusp there of Gemini or Cancer. Too. Have you ever had your chart looked at? I can't pull off the screen, but I will say this with June 20th. Do you know if you're Gemini or Cancer, Taylor? Because I don't have my my laptop with me tonight to go in and look at charts, but it's something I could do for next week's live. Hi, Aiden. No, you don't know. Also, let me know what part of the world you are tuning in from. If you're in the United States, your state, or your country, just so I have an idea. And okay, so you make, I did just work with an editor. You say I make edits. I worked with an editor this month for the haunted places to visit. Oh, Canada. Okay. So Canada, right? So that's a synchronicity because I brought up Canada. Taylor, are you near Toronto? Taylor, are you Montreal? Vancouver? I'm just naming. USA. Okay, good. We got USA. So it's still New Year's Eve for, I believe, Canada and you. Are you Toronto, Taylor? Maybe you could just tell me one more time because I just named off a bunch of big cities in Canada. Oh, you're Montreal. Okay, right on. So you are, actually, I could drive to Montreal. So you are in driving distance to where I am. I'm on the East Coast in the United States. So that with June 20th, you are probably a Gemini, Taylor. Is that the sun sign that you identify with? Because I'm thinking of someone else I know that's June 20th, and he's a Gemini as well. So does that sound familiar to you that your sun sign is Gemini? Is that what you identify as with your sun sign? Hi, Sheila, too, that's saying, because if you are, I would think, yeah, okay, so you identify as Gemini. So what's going on with Geminis this year is also Uranus, which is the planet of, it can be sudden changes, ideas come in a flash of lightning, is going to finish up in Taurus and move into Gemini for, let's just say about the next 6 years. I don't have my ephemeris in front of me tonight, but you're going to have, Taylor, that Uranus, I mean, that's not going to happen for about 6 years from now, but that Uranus, I mean, still is going to line up with your Gemini. And I think for Geminis, Gemini is a sign that can make change on a dime. If you're not that type of Gemini, then there's other planets too, right? Because the astrology, the Western astrology chart is a composite of the personality on a basic level, in addition to genetics and environment, right? We don't want to, say it's a here-all, say-all, end-all. It's a component. Hello. So, hi, Taylor, there to say, so Geminis, you're going to have that Uranus lining up. And I think for Geminis that embracing the new. I feel also with work and technology, I feel some of you could be really good with invention with technology and also with AI. I am not a big AI person, even though that is the future and it is the present. But I also feel some of you with invention and technology in groundbreaking types of technology that's saying, so yeah, you're welcome. That's going to start this year, because I'm going to basically say it's 2026. Of course, those of us in the USA, it's still the last hours of 2025. And Canada, right? You're still in the last hours of 2025. But that's going to be big for Geminis, is Uranus and Gemini. So I would even, look, a quick Google search on that just to see. You can type in Sun in Gemini. How is Uranus and Gemini going to affect that, as a sun sign Gemini too? So what's interesting, tomorrow, okay, so if you're right now, everyone that's said hello has let me know that they're either it's Canada or United States. So for us, it's still New Year's Eve. But if you are tuning in from anywhere else besides the United States and Canada, it is most likely New Year's Day for you. So United States and Canada too, this is for all of us. January 1st, tomorrow, is the 111 portal. And how is that so? If you pay attention in numerology, we are wrapping up a year 9. 2025, right? When you add up 2025, that's a 9 cycle. So 9s in numerology are about endings, and I don't know what SYBAU is. So if you could, Nabil, clarify that. Hello, Nabil. So we are wrapping up a 9 cycle. Those of you that are not in North America, you are all in the 1 cycle now. So January 1st, 111. And I'll say this, I was thinking about this before the live. It's also a good day to reflect on what do you want to accomplish in 2026? You could write that down on a piece of paper. I will be at a sound bath tomorrow evening, a New Year's Day sound bath. That's with the singing bowls and, just to reset and release and purge and, cleanse out the since this past weekend, which was a hectic with one of my social media channels. But you want to accomplish getting thousands. Okay, so write that on a piece of paper, what you can do, and then go outside and light it. That tomorrow, with tomorrow being a 111 portal, right? So January is 1. The 1st is 1. 2026, when you break that down, is a 1. So that's where we have the 111 portal. And in numerology, 1s are new beginnings. It is the beginning of a 10-year, a 9-year cycle. So 2026 is a 1 year. So tomorrow is a good, I treat it like a new moon or solstice day, which I always say with the new moons or the solstices, take an inventory of what do you want in your life? Who are the people? Where do you want to live? What do you want your home to look like? What type of car do you want to drive? With work, right? With finance, and good luck is something that you work at. It's very rare someone is just innately lucky. Someone that's lucky works at having good luck. So tomorrow is the 111 portal. So you can work with that energy and really take an inventory. What do you want your 2026 to look like, right? Make this your best year yet. It's a year 1. Right, we're in the last hours, again, if you're North America, of cleaning out. Like, what do you want to leave behind of this year? Because leave it behind. You do not want to bring it into 2026, right? And that's what, especially that we're closing out this year 9, right? It's leaving the past in the past. And if anything good that, you want to bring in with you 2026, definitely bring that with you. So tomorrow, again, is the 111 portal. So work with that energy of the ones there, right, that you see. When also, too, you can look at numerically the number 111, right, as an angel number. I'm very into numbers, looking when I see numbers as, intuiting or these signs or these messages. So pay attention, especially to, when you're out and about, we're always getting signs, however you want to call it, spirit, the universe, God, goddess, Yahweh, Allah, whatever, Devi, right? We're always getting signs. I know when I was driving over here, I got a sign from my father. The license plate in front of me said retired Air Force. And my father was in the Air Force and he was a veteran. So you want to constantly, your loved ones, thank you for the hearts, the smiles, party. Yes, this is a celebratory time of year, right? That we're celebrating different cultures. In the Greek culture, we have what we call a vasilopita, which we put in a lucky coin and you slice the cake, and whoever gets the coin has a lucky year in front of them. Another tradition for New Year's Day is to get a pomegranate and smash it in front of your front door. That is a Greek tradition to have abundance and prosperity and also good fortune in the home as well. So, too, when you're out and about these next couple days, look to see, your loved ones, your guides, they're always sending you signs. It's just whether we're paying attention to them. That this is what we call in spirituality synchronicity. People that are non-believers or closed-minded call it coincidences, though in spirituality we refer to these as synchronicities. You're thinking about something and you randomly talk to someone, and they bring up what you were thinking about. That's a synchronicity, right, too. So just pay attention to, and I find a lot of times when we get signs, it's usually more outdoors than indoors. Not that you can't get signs indoors, you definitely can, but especially when you're outside and fresh air and nature, our senses open to receive signs. So, as you start off the new year, you want to make the 111 day, make it a positive day. Spend time with people that are positive, that are your people. The TV that you're watching or a movie, watch something positive, because that also sets the tone for the year too. So that's, we're in, and again, if you're not in North America, then you're already in the 111. Here on the East Coast, we got about a little over 4 hours until we're in the 111 cycle. We are wrapping up those last hours. Okay, so what's going on astrologically? Also, during the lives, I talk about the astrological weather for the week. Giving you a quick synopsis, right, too. So Taylor was talking about, too, how she's a Gemini. Tomorrow, the thinking planet, which is Mercury, in mythology, that is ruled by the god Hermes. Mercury is co-ruled by Gemini and Virgo. So when Mercury changes signs, Geminis and Virgos feel this. Doesn't matter what the sign is. Mercury, the thinking planet, finally leaves Sagittarius tomorrow. It has been there on and off since November 9th. Okay, when Mercury went retrograde last month, it was in Sagittarius. And then it moved back into Scorpio. And then it went direct, I think it was on the 29th last month in Scorpio. And then it got back into Sag. And it's finally leaving. So this is another closure, completion cycle that we are tomorrow with the 111, we move into Capricorn. So what does this mean? I was talking about this last week and in my other live, which I have on Sunday nights. So you got a lot of planets in Capricorn. With a lot of planets in Capricorn, anytime you have you have the sun in Capricorn. So as of tomorrow, the sun's in Capricorn, the core nature, that's the sun sign. The Mercury is in Capricorn. The Venus is in Capricorn. The Mars is in Capricorn. I would hold off any major decisions until the full moon passes Saturday. And I'm also going to talk about that after I go through this Mercury in Capricorn. So it's a lot of Capricorn, which means 2 babies that are born now are going to be super intense. I've been saying this because we've had the lineup of Sag. We have the lineup of Capricorn now. Capricorn is a serious, productive sign. I also find, as an astrologer, Capricorns are not always one of their not strong suits is being able to express their feelings or articulate them or get in touch with them. They can get very stuck with emotions because it's a linear sign. It's an earth sign. Capricorns are consistent. They're reliable. They are work horses. They are the sign of ambition as well. Aristotle Onassis, who was a well-known shipping magnate, he was a Capricorn. It's just one example that's coming to mind. When he was here, I believe he was a billionaire. He passed in the 1970s. But Capricorn is a workhorse sign. So it's really, after we get through the full moon Saturday, now through the 20th, it's really a time where you can get a lot done and you can get focused and you can get centered. You just want to watch with people that are maybe too serious or getting too serious or even a little bit, maudlin, because Capricorn can be very tough on themselves. There is also a perfectionistic element to Capricorn. So we're going to things, we're very Capricorn-y. They are peaking now as of tomorrow or, today for you, again, depending on what continent you're in. So you really want to pace yourself with that now through the 20th of January. That's almost the next 3 weeks, let's say. So that, that's a very intense, serious cycle that we are in. And tomorrow is the full peak intensity of that. Okay, so we have the thinking planet of communication moves into Capricorn tomorrow. Saturday, January 3rd is the full moon. That is 5 a.m. New York time. So whatever time zone you're in, calculate that to New York time. This full moon is in its natural, the moon is in its natural ruler. So the moon in astrology is our feelings, is our emotions, and it also can indicate our health. That with the signs, they have distinction, domain over certain parts of the body. Like Aries is head, Taurus is throat, Gemini is arms, Cancer is the breast area here. So men, your chest, right? Women, your décolletage. French is not my strong suit, so forgive me if you speak French or French is your native language, because so the full moon is Saturday and the moon is in its home base ruler. So if you know anybody here, if you're Cancer sun, your Cancer moon, your Cancer rising, The full moon Saturday is super intense in the feelings department. People that have the Cancer moon are super sensitive people. And I was talking about this earlier today, yesterday, last couple days. I said this: people born with the moon in Cancer, the relationship with their mother makes or breaks them, because the moon in astrology is ruled by the mother. So here you have this full moon. You have Capricorn, which is Saturn. That's the father. And then you have the moon in Cancer with the full moon, and that's the mother. So you have this polarity, right? Because we associate in some ways father and mother as opposites, right? That you get one type of sustenance from the father and you get another sustenance from the mother. So this weekend is going to be, people are going to be really in their feelings. Now, whether they can handle their feelings, that's something else. Too, especially with the new year. And you see this, I mean, I saw this for us here in the United States. It celebrated Christmas. I saw this online with people that are not in touch with their feelings. So you really want to get in touch with your feelings this weekend. Like I said, sound baths, Google that. If you don't know what a sound bath is, I go to a sound bath a couple times a month. Those are the singing bowls and the different colors, and you lay down and you listen to the sounds to rejuvenate and heal. Also to, go slow this weekend. Cancer moves slowly. You ever seen a crab on the beach, right? They have these huge eyes, these sensitive, huge eyes looking back at you. What does a crab do? It walks sideways to the left, then the right, and then it moves forward. That is the essence of Cancer. Cancers are usually slow decision makers. If you know a Cancer that's a fast decision maker, it's not the sun sign. It's another placement or placements in their chart. I'm having green tea, everyone, just so you know. Plain green tea. So the full moon Saturday is very much about your being in your feelings, and can you handle your feelings, and what are you feeling? Whether this is your relationships, your relationship with your parents definitely is under the microscope this weekend for sure. Both parents, right? Because you have the Capricorn, the father, and then you have the Cancer moon, the Capricorn sun, father, and the Cancer moon, the mother. And we are taught to think of them as opposites, because the father we think of masculine and the mother we think of feminine. Thank you. Hi, Lemon 5730. Thank you. I appreciate that too, that this is, you're connecting with this. So it's really, I think with the weekend, go slow. If you can make your calendar light, I would, hi, Reed Roberts. I would make, okay, thank you, Lemon, too, so that the feedback. I would say, Lemon, too, if you can make the calendar light Saturday and Sunday, I wouldn't put a lot on the calendar with that full moon, too. When you start connecting to, right, because everything around us is energy and frequency. When you start connecting on an intuitive level, right, that's saying, when for myself as a psychic, a medium, and a psychic astrologer, you're putting nothing there, you're clearing the calendar. I think that's a good idea because, Lemon, I'm thinking about my Saturday too. If I do anything on Saturday, for the most part, I mean, who knows, what is going to come up, what'll happen on Saturday. But if I'm anything Saturday, if I'm doing any traveling, it's related to self-care, a self-care. Yes, I am. Did it not show up that the write-up, maybe when I turned, yes, I've 30 years, a psychic, a medium. You can check out my channel, Eleni Dedes, PhD. I was a professor for 20 years. I wrote my PhD dissertation, 250 pages, on the psychic priestesses in ancient Greece. I combined my ability. I'm a trained researcher, and scholar is my formal training. But I've always, it's hard here on a typing text. And I was saying this before. Who was I talking about this with earlier yesterday? When I do readings, Lemon, like saying I have Monday, I'm in the reading room, so I won't be filming. If you check out, I've been posting a lot of paranormal videos because on one of my other social media, they've been wanting the ghost stories. That is, I get the most views, the biggest demand. So Monday, I'm in the reading room. I have booked clients. When I am in with mediumship too, I'm either hearing a voice on the phone or they are in person with me. I perform live shows. Yeah, ghost stories. There's a lot on my channel. Check it out. My pilot that I filmed, Haunted Places to Visit, is on my channel. The trailer as well. I will be shopping that this year. That is the third pilot I've ever been involved with. This pilot I wrote and directed as well. I created the content for that. One second, there's someone. Okay, there's someone there that doesn't belong in the live. They're in the wrong live. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, you know, that's why saying I put them in timeout, Lemon, because it's just, you know, you always have people that try to rain on other people's parades. So yeah, I do a lot of paranormal. I did put them in timeout. Yeah, because it's also, look, they want the attention. If you interact back with them, they feed off of that because they're negative. Only a negative person goes in, a negative, unhappy person, right? And the point of these lives is to access the positive and ways, also to how we can tap into feeling good, to, and maintaining. If we can feel good, if we can get to even 80-90% of the time, we're on a good track because you can see it, around us. And that's what I was saying. My other social media channel, I have a lot of, not a lot, I shouldn't say. I have some trolls and haters, and they're just, some of them have lost their noodles, you could say. But anyway, that's not where we're focusing tonight. But yes, I have, if you look on my YouTube channel, and you can follow, because I do post with the lives, right? Because the next live will be, what is next Wednesday? It'll be the 7th of January. That is the next live, the same time, 7:30 p.m. New York time, right, too. And I post an announcement on my channel. But my trailer for Haunted Places to Visit is on the channel. And the other cool thing is, Lemon, I don't know where you are, but I go out on the street, and that's what you'll see in the trailer and the pilot. I also you agree to go on film and you share your ghost story. So I do. And as here, I mean, it's cold on the East Coast. So when the weather gets warmer, I plan to go back out on the street to talk to all of you. And you'll see that in the trailer and the pilot. Part of the show is on the street, where I go out and I talk to all of you, and we unpack your ghost story, and like saying, and then, yeah, they can, at the end, if I get something in psychically or with mediumship. In this pilot on the street, I didn't do that with any of the people I talked to, but I filmed a different pilot. And we went out on the street, right? I asked if you've seen a ghost before, what happened, all of that. And then you agree to be on film, and, you share your ghost story with everyone too, because then it also helps, right? This is the whole thing why I post all these videos, because you get these people like, ghosts don't exist. Hey, look, that's what you believe. People have had experiences. And as Albert Einstein said, your experiences are your proof. When you have an experience, that's how you know it's real. And I get it. Some people, aren't going to believe until they have an experience, and that's fair. But don't shut down other people's voices. That's something that I'm really committed to saying, because in one of my social media, I do have an extensive interaction in the comments. So I do monitor that, that if, you know what I mean, anyone dares to swoop in on someone in the comments, you know, I let the person know, not the attacker, but the person being attacked. I let them know, you know, I'm on this. You know, I've seen this. They're going to be handled for that, because that's unacceptable. You just take your negativity elsewhere. You know, go pound salt. Go, you know, you know, play some sports to release that energy too. So yeah, I film it. Like I was just filming yesterday ghost story videos. And Monday I was filming ghost story videos. I'm going to film a ghost story video tomorrow. I'm planning at a children's park. That's why if you check out my channel, there's quite a bit of videos to sink into about the paranormal there as well. As far as with your uncle, I do feel he's around you. You need to pay attention more, Lemon, if you're there. Also, I get him appearing to you in a dream. So are you remembering any of your dreams? When you see him in a dream, that's his way of letting you know he's around you and he's visiting you. So I'll go over again, if those of you, you're in the live now. The focus of these lives are paranormal, which is, you know, ghosts, ghost stories, haunted locations. I am a paranormal psychic medium. Also astrology, to Western astrology, psychic astrology, psychic content, right? In the context of a message, a psychic message is what's usually coming up for someone. Psychic mediumship is relatives, loved ones, pets, and also too, all of these topics are connected to spirituality. I talk about how the spiritual aspects of psychicness, the spiritual aspects of mediumship, the spiritual aspects of astrology. Also to the ethics when you're dealing with ghosts and you go to locations. I have a paranormal investigation coming up on the 10th, which is soon, with the paranormal team, a location I've been to a couple times. You know, what's different too is I talk to ghosts respectfully. I'm not mean. I don't antagonize. I have compassion. I have empathy. If they want my help, I'm willing to give them my help too. That's saying, as well with that, that I go in with integrity when I interact with ghosts. I talked about this in the pilot of Haunted Places to Visit. If people ask me, are there certain locations that they shouldn't go? The answer is yes, too. But you know, look, my philosophy is you do what you need to do. If you want to go, you know, at your own risk. And I talk about this in the pilot. There's a difference between their turf and your turf. When you go somewhere that has a negative energy field and certain lower vibrations feed off of that, even for myself, I'm out of my own ballpark. I tread very, very carefully. Now, they're not everywhere, and not all ghosts are mean. There's actually kind, friendly ghosts, too, but talk to them like you would talk nicely to a person. You know, when you enter someone's house and there are ghost stories or you had experience, be polite. Be respectful. That's really important. And also, too, you want to set boundaries. I don't like being touched. And actually, one of the videos I filmed this week, I have to refilm. Just, again, reminding myself, saying that. I don't like being touched. I make that very clear. And I can't tell you the last time that I was touched. It was a while ago. It was in Florida. It was a kid ghost. He pulled on my purse. But you also want to, if you're interested in the paranormal, you want to set boundaries too. That's really important. Boundaries is really important because spiritual people a lot of times, and people, if you're empathic, right? An empath is someone that feels other people's feelings and the person hasn't said anything to them, that is connected with your intuition. You know, you really need to set boundaries, because when you go to some of these locations, I was, listening with here in the United States, the most well-known paranormal show, the man that's the lead of that, he's got a haunted museum in Las Vegas. I have been in that museum. People get sick. They can also trip, and you know what I mean? They get disoriented because there's a lot of negative energy in that museum. So it's really, I know when I went in there, because I had a friend, she was like, please, can we go? I would not go by choice as a sensitive. I don't like those things myself. I don't need to get the sheets pulled down in the middle of the night. I'm good. But if that's what you like, cool. Book the hotel room. You know what I mean? If that's what, revs your engine, I'm a live and let live person. If that, that excites you, then go for it. But hello don't mean in Spanish. Hi, Will Smith. Maybe that's something lost in translation. I'm not sure. Where are you tuning in from, Will? So that's really important if you're interested in going to locations that are known to have paranormal activity. I mean, here in the United States, there's an abundance of options. California is very haunted. I did some videos this past summer in the Los Angeles area. Las Vegas, where I perform live shows, is very haunted. I will be filming some more videos on the Las Vegas Strip in a couple months related to the paranormal. People have stories too. In addition to my own experiences, I talk with people too. Maintenance workers, they have stories. Tile guys have stories. Security guards have stories. Bartenders have stories. Cleaning women at hotels have stories. Servers at restaurants. I just filmed a video yesterday at a Victorian inn that also has a restaurant. People that work there have stories too, as well. There's, certain locations. So with the paranormal, so when you do see a spirit or a ghost, right, that is a psychic experience, right? Because I was talking about, right, psychic. In the context of a psychic message is mostly what's coming up for the person. In the context of a message, psychic mediumship is a message from a relative, a loved one, a pet. So it does get very complex, and that's why I spend time on the lives also educating, right? Because it should be something that you work at connecting to. People like myself, to, those of us that, I would say are higher vibration in the industry, we're constantly working at our ability. It's a constant, it's that reflection. How can I improve? What didn't I, with my ability, it's also too, it's, having a filter. Sometimes, knowing a person's threshold, what they can handle, what they can't handle. When you entered the Oracle at Delphi, there were two sayings before you asked the psychic priestess a question. And this is one of my chapters in my dissertation, is this site, Delphi, which was one of the most famous sites where you went to ask psychic questions, not mediumship, psychic questions. But before you entered the temple and had the transcriber go and ask the question to the psychic priestess, it said, know thyself. So when you delve into these areas, You really want to be committed to knowing yourself. People that are not on a spiritual path and an authentic spiritual path, saying that they're authentically on a spiritual path, they're committed to knowing themselves. And the self is, when you're on the spiritual journey, the self is constantly shifting. Who you are 10 years ago is not who you are right now. That's all part of this interconnectedness with the psychic too. That's part of the journey. I've said this before when people ask me with my ability. I never trained with anyone. I meditate and I pray. Today I had quite a bit of meditation too. Also getting ready for the live to be centered and grounded as well. Even when, I do readings, as I said, Monday, I'm in the reading room, so I won't be traveling to film videos because I have appointments with people that booked one-on-one appointments. So, there's a formula to all of this, the psychic, the spiritual, even with mediumship, there's a way too, right? So when you're asking about your uncle or whoever, you want to also work on developing your own line. Okay, you're back. I was wondering, okay, Lemon, that too, I was saying, this is what I was saying, Lemon, too. What you want to work on with your uncle is developing your own line of communication. And I'll give you some examples in the past week. I think I was saying this when I was driving here. So my father went back into spirit last year, and a license plate in front of me as I was driving here said retired Air Force officer, Air Force retired. My father was in the Air Force. So that's a sign from Dad letting me know that he's around. Friday, I had to get my car serviced. And my friend's aunt, who I had read for when she was here, now she's back in spirit, she was in the car with me about 5 minutes before I drove into the dealership. And when I was sitting there, they take you to the desk and explain what they're going to do. How do you communicate? You ask him to visit you in a dream. You ask to remember that dream. Have you seen him in a dream? I'll start with that. Another cool thing to do is when you're having a meal at the table, leave an empty chair. I'm really sorry to hear that. That is awful. And my condolences to that. That's not easy to deal with. So the good news is now that's in the past for him. He's not suffering, as that. And I feel very quick he went out of the body with that too. Yeah, that's hard. Have you had a visit? Do you remember him in any of your dreams? Starting with that. His organs were like pancakes. Though, yeah, it's awful. The thing though too, Lemon, when that happens, they jump right out of the body. Yeah, leave an empty chair. Invite them when you're having a meal. Invite them at the table to spend time with you during the meal. Leave an empty chair in your room, in your living room, and invite them to spend time with you. With your uncle, what happens is they jump right out of the body. He jumped right out of the body. I get, if it wasn't his mother, I get a mother figure, an aunt, someone like this came and got him. No, he won't be flat when he comes back. No, that is past tense now. That's over with. He's not flat now. You have a soul, okay? We all have a soul. Yeah, I know. That's why too, also with the lives, I educate as well, so you have information to take with you. We all have souls in our physical bodies. When our time is up here, there is a silver cord that keeps us in the physical body. When our time is up, that cord is cut, and that soul, yes, you have a soul. Every single person in a physical body has a soul. So what happens too, when your time is up, your soul leaves your body. That soul is eternal. What about beetles? Are you saying the bug? Any animal has, a life force. The same with cats, dogs, they have a soul. Rabbits, yeah, it's, for me, it's not really something I don't really focus on bugs. I focus more on dogs and cats. Panda bears. Panda bears have a soul. They go, into the spirit world. If you watch any of the panda videos on YouTube, when any of them, pass away, people are wishing them the best wishes and, panda star heaven or however they say. Yes, they do. Anything with a life force goes on, but that gets into really complex metaphysics. But starting, with the cats, the dogs, the panda bears, lions. What is that? Are you saying what's a life force? Is that what you're saying? Because FORVE, I am not sure if you're saying what's a life force. Yeah, okay. What's a life force? So, meaning that anything that's a living, breathing, a life force. Like we have a life force that's connected with the soul. So you have a soul, which is a life force of energy in you. The cat has a life force, the soul. The dog has a life force, the soul. The panda bear has a life force, the soul. The lion, the elephant, the wildebeest, right? You get the idea. It's connected with the soul because the physical body, this expires. One day, I taught philosophy at the universities. And giraffe, absolutely. Yes, giraffe has a soul and a life force, absolutely. When I taught, which universities? In the United States? Are you in the United States? I taught in the New Jersey, Pennsylvania area. Different universities. University of Scranton, Rutgers University. Oh, you're in Kazakhstan. What time is it there? I may have said that. Kazakhstan. What time is it in Kazakhstan? Too, because I don't have right now access to Google. Otherwise, I'll look at it later or tomorrow, the time zone. There, I've taught in universities in New Jersey and Pennsylvania. I've taught philosophy. I've taught business ethics, mythology, a Kazakh watch. Yeah, I'll have to, I'll look either tonight or tomorrow your time zone as well. So I'm not off the cuff. I know the time in Athens, Greece right now because I'm an American Greek. Business ethics. I always taught them that the smart thinkers combine intuition with the facts. That's what too. You want to combine the intuitive, the psychic is intangible. Data, facts is tangible. But, I say this a lot of times too, right? I say this to people that are numbers people, right? I say to them, have you ever crunched numbers? Yeah, intuition with facts. That's what you combine them out. It's what Albert Einstein did. He was psychic, Albert Einstein. Yeah, you combine, because I can tell you as a researcher, when I was working on the PhD, I had a vision of an archaeological artifact I needed to find. It's a beetle, which is a rock that the psychic priestesses would touch to receive messages. No, he was not a medium. He was a psychic. So that's why too, because I can only say here in the United States, a lot of people that perform live shows like myself, a Baetyl, B-A-E-T-Y-L, Baetyl. In Greek, we call it a vatilos. A Baetyl, B-A-E-T-Y. Yes, the Baetyl. Yeah, so I wrote about that too. They would touch these Baetyls, and with the mythology behind it, the mythology was that the Baetyls flew from outer space, from the universe, onto Earth. That's the myth behind the Baetyl. Now, whether that's true, I don't know, right? That's saying, but that's the myth of the Baetyl. Though the facts are, yes, in Greece, there are several locations that have the Baetyl. Delphi, that I was talking about, which, am I from space too? Are you saying all of us? Are you from space too, from a space rock? Are you saying, am I a space rock? I'm not understanding that. Oh, is that, yeah, that the Baetyl is a space rock. Yeah. I mean, that's the myth behind it. In the mythology, that's the myth. Because mythology, and to say, having taught mythology and having designed a mythology course, mythology was a pre-scientific attempt to explain natural phenomena. People have always wanted answers for the millions of years that we've been on this planet, right? And we have that documented evidence of Lucy 3 million years ago in Africa. Her bones, they exist. We have always been looking for answers. So before science, right, which is all linear, and that's where it conflicts. Yeah, I don't know about North Korea. I don't focus. I'm more into South Korea. I would say I'm into South Korea, not North Korea. So that's another live to look for. So so the focus here is paranormal, psychic mediumship, astrology, spirituality. Those are the genres of discussion and inquiry. So mythology is a pre-scientific attempt to explain natural phenomena. People have always been looking for answers. And before science, people relied on their intuition more. The survival instinct, right? What's a survival instinct? That's your intuition, right? Sometimes to tell you, don't go here, I don't get a good feeling. That's your intuition. A lot of these in the United States, a lot of these CIA, FBI people are psychic. They're not mediums, they're psychic. And they combine the facts with their ability to solve cases. You see a lot of these people talk about their abilities once they're retired. Hi, Kermit, too. So it is a way of thinking, combining your intuition with the facts, because the facts don't always tell you a complete story, right? That's saying with this, and I know this as a researcher myself, that, also including my abilities psychically with research. Why don't facts tell you a complete story? Because it's not absolute. Like, I'll give you an example. We know there's other universes, and we don't have tangible proof, but we know they're out there, because there are things that it doesn't give you the full picture, because also there are dimensions that are invisible. And theoretical, Levy, theoretical physics, if you read Dr. Kaku at CUNY, he talks about how there's multiple dimensions. These are not tangible dimensions. These are intangible dimensions. Though theoretical physics discusses this. What dimensions are invisible? Okay, so saying there's higher dimensions and there's lower dimensions. So higher dimensions are what we call the spirit world. Some people in religions refer to this as heaven, but there's levels, there's dimensions. Thank you. I appreciate that. Which ones are lowest? You take when we say, okay, so in theoretical physics, there is the theory that there's 11 dimensions. So when you talk about, right, when I was talking about ghost stories and paranormal, negative entities, they're in lower dimensions. So let's put them at 1 through 3. Let's just say right now off the cuff. I guess, I hadn't thought of it numerically, and I love that you're asking this because I love to think in new directions too. It's exciting. Yeah, theoretical physics, 11 dimensions. And you can look up Dr. Michio, Michio. His last name is Kaku. He is a theoretical physicist. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Cooper. Thank you, Levi. He's a theoretical physicist at City University in New York, at CUNY, too. And he is, theoretical physicist. Yeah, Dr. Kaku is. He's very aligned with Einstein, too. Einstein talked about how you get from one dimension to the other. And I say this too when I perform live shows. This isn't me. I didn't say what number you are. How am I number 3 and not number 1? I'm not understanding that. You are number 2. Oh, you're just joking around with the number. Yeah, I mean, I didn't assign them numbers. I just think of them as the lower levels, and then, the higher frequency dimension levels. So, yeah, I mean, 11's a master number too. If you look at 2, I mean, I'm a big numbers person, as well. My father was an electrical engineer, a mathematician. So, I grew up. A master number means it's a more exalted number, not that every number has meaning and significant, but a master number means like an ascended number. Like 11's a master number, 22 is a master number, right? Saying those are so that means like a more ascended. It's considered a master number. Your favorite number is 5. Well, 5 is also 2. It's, it's also with tarot. I don't really use tarot very much myself. My appointments, I don't use tarot, my live shows. But in tarot, it's the Hierophant. So that's number 5, which is also, it's a teaching, learning number. The Hierophant in tarot is seeking knowledge, education. Also 555, if you take, so you like 5. Okay, somebody does seem to be repetitious here of each other. Now I'm starting to see that. If you take 555, so 5535s is considered a change transformation number. That, 2. So he likes 5 too. Okay, you like 5 too. That's good. That's saying that's fine. But you can look into 555. If you like 555, look into 555. That's a change transformation number. Your favorite number is 5. That's great. Okay, it's interesting that 5 is the number, in the comments. So yeah, it is a popular number tonight. You're right. You're surprising me in a good way. Not that, I mean, I like every number, and I've really lately been very into numbers, and, then looking like, oh, okay, what does that mean if it's, like 1111, or, we talked about tomorrow, how it's a 111 day, right? So yeah, 5 in also 555 is a change transformation, being on the threshold. Yeah, tomorrow is a 111 day because 2026 When you break it down, 2 plus 2 is 4, plus 6 is 1. So Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Cooper. Yeah, so that's why I was saying in the beginning of the live, you can work with that as, I look at it too with the universe, however you want to call it, God, Goddess, Devi, Yahweh, Allah. Happy New Year, everyone. Happy New Year. You did say it first. You did. So I will give you that acknowledgement, Cooper. Um, so yeah. With that, yeah, I talked about that before with the Beatles. So you can think of another question to ask. And yeah, so you have, that's what too, with the one energy, that the 2026 is the beginning. A 9-year cycle is put to bed now. That's it. It's gone. Now it's a whole new cycle, a new beginning. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. A 9-year, think of what has gone on the last 9 years in your life. That's what it applies to. I don't know how old you are, but it's tomorrow's a day really, and even right now after we get done with the live, which is, let's see, we have about another 25 minutes left. Even after the live ends, think about what's been going. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry about that with your uncle. It is really, look, it's not easy too. Yeah, in the last 9 years, besides your uncle, what else too? I haven't even really stopped to think about the last 9 years. I'm going to have to do that. Your cat fell in a wood chipper. Well, that's not good. That's sad. Because animals are beautiful and wonderful. And the animals are healers. That's the thing too. I've got a German Shepherd downstairs waiting for me when I get done with the live. He's a gentle giant too. He's just, he's pure love. And the animals are healers. That's why it's also good to spend time with animals. As I was saying with the New Year's Eve, Yes, I do. He's downstairs. His name is Cypress. Yes. Yes. Yes, a German Shepherd. He is 3 years old. He is a tank, and he loves his treats, and he loves his walks, and he loves his toys. Yeah, so of course, he's waiting for me to get done with the live. We will probably, after the live, I'm going to take him for a walk, too, because that's what's also too with the German Shepherds, right? I don't have a problem with him. Why? Because I attend to his needs. I keep him occupied. I keep him thinking. No, I'm not ending the live yet. But when we, in a little over 20 minutes, because also, which was till 9 o'clock New York time, the live isn't ending now. So, it's, the animals are healers. That's why they're good for your health. You see this too, especially, that's why sometimes people want to be around animals and not people. And I'm talking, of course, dogs and cats here. And when you are consistent with the animal, that animal is consistent with you. And the animal, the dog, the cat loves you unconditionally. We don't always find that in the people around us. And if you do, you're very lucky and you're blessed. Yeah, so that is too, yes, he is downstairs waiting. He is being very well behaved right now at the moment. Not that he's not, he's usually always very well behaved. Okay, I talked about Aunt Chrissy too, a little bit about Dad. Well, even the sign tonight with Dad, I'm just here with the notebook too, because I do write an outline Let me see, I'm just some notes on the drive here, too. So also, let's see, I don't know how with this applies. Yeah, so you have a cat. How old is your cat? Cats are very psychic. Very, very psychic, too. That, and that's what you take from the lore, right? The witch having her familiar. Again, they're very good judges of character. Dogs are very psychic, too. Your cats and dogs see spirits. You ever seen them look off and looking to something in the room, and it's very distinct? I have a video here on YouTube. Hi, Emmett. I have a video here on YouTube of Cypress seeing a spirit. It's not recent. You'd have to scroll down on my page for that. But I have a video, and then when I say to him, who's there, he looks over at me, like, oh, I'm seeing someone. I'm doing okay, Emmett, getting here on the East Coast, ready to ring in the new year in a little over 3 hours. How are you? Where are you tuning in from? I like to know if, United States, if you could say the state or what country, just because that gives me an idea. So far tonight, we have Canada, we have USA. You live on the East Coast. Okay. East Coast. Okay, you live on the East Coast. Let's see, Nigeria. Okay. I do know a little bit, Emmett, about the Yoruba culture. You're from you're from Pennsylvania. Okay, here, I'm just taking some notes. Emmett, I do know a little bit about the Yoruba culture. Are you familiar with that in Nigeria? And this is what to say. So the Yoruba culture in Nigeria, you are? Okay, so you know about the shape shifting and how some of them can turn from person to animal and animal to person. In the Yoruba culture, and also for everyone that's watching, in Nigeria, there's a Yoruba culture. And some of these people in the Yoruba, you can shape shift, Emmett. Okay, what have you shape shifted? From what animal have you shape shifted into? You don't even have a rank? Well, give yourself a rank. Are you asking me to rank you, Cooper, or are you trying to establish your ranking level in the comments? So you can shapeshift. Do you belong to the Yoruba, Emmett, in Nigeria? So the Yoruba, those of you that are listening, in the Yoruba culture, and I've spoken to people from Nigeria, not in the Yoruba Christian, because you have also too, you have people in Yoruba, you have people in Nigeria, a beetle, cat, and uncle. Okay. So that's that. And you have in the Yoruba where people can from panther to person. This is also in the native culture here in the United States too, that they have this with the shape shifting. It's not just the Yoruba in Nigeria. When I was talking about Lilydale earlier, that they're the native tribe in upstate New York is the Seneca Nation. And there's a museum, the Seneca Museum. And I was years ago writing a paper on shapeshifters, not the Yoruba, the native in North America. And I was talking with one of the employees there at the Seneca. I said, do you have any shapeshifter stories? Oh, you did. Okay. Thank you for the sub, Emmett. So I asked him, do you have any shapeshifter stories? Because this is right with research, gathering the data. And he said, well, I don't, but one day, because in upstate New York, they get a lot of snow. too, just to give you, that's about 10 hours. What is it? 8 hours north of Manhattan. They get a lot of snow. Buffalo, New York, too, in that area. So I asked him at the museum, do you have a shape shifting story? And he said, no, I don't, but one day. Um, so good. I hope that too. And also ask him to appear to you in a dream. I don't understand why then Levi is repeating what Lemon said or what that's about. But I'm not really going to put energy into that because I'm, taking time to explain this shapeshifter story. So the man working at the museum said, okay, good. That's good. You're talking to him. Beetle in ancient Egypt is actually considered very sacred, too. You have on the scarabs in Egypt, the scarabs are the beetle. So that's something, if you are interested in beetles, they are sacred in ancient Egypt. And a scarab is Scarab. So you can Google that and look. A scarab is a beetle. And that's relevant to ancient Egypt. So the man working at the Seneca Museum in upstate New York, yeah, I talked about that before, that they have souls. So he says, no, I don't have a story, but one day my father was walking. It was winter and it was snowing. And he passed a man, and him and the man, said hello to one another. So let's say dad's walking this way. The man that he says hello to is walking this way. So they're walking opposite directions. And as his dad, he said, kept walking, that the man's footprints changed into wolf prints, right? Wolves have a soul. Speaking of Cypress, who's downstairs patiently waiting for me, because, right, German Shepherds do look like wolves, and they are big, too. But that's an example of shape-shifting, that the footprints in the snow changed from a person's footprints, a human's footprints, to a wolf footprint. And from when he shared that story, that's an example of shape-shifting. I'll tell you another shapeshifter story. So for my PhD, I went to school out in your skinwalker too. Well, I haven't heard the greatest things about skinwalkers. So if you want to explain what type of skinwalker you are, because skinwalkers are not considered good. So I'll tell you this one story, and then I'm going to end the live. So I was flying to San Francisco, where I attended for my PhD. And I had a man next to me that he was a white man, and he had lived on a reservation, a native reservation. And the tribal shaman, his name was Doc McGee. And he was a teenager. And this man had gone into Doc McGee's house, right? So it's a reservation. They keep things unlocked. And he goes and takes his Pink Floyd album. This is in the 1970s. So he takes Doc McGee's Pink Floyd album, brings it home, and puts it under his bed. Later that night, a pack of wolves appear at his bedroom window. And he said to me, I could see the eyes of Doc McGee in one of those wolves' eyes. He said after the wolves left, he went to go look under his bed. Hi, Melinda. Can you let us know a wolf talking about with shape? This is a shapeshifter story about a reservation in California. I'm talking about shapeshifter. Are you connected with Emmett and Levy? Because that'll help me know. So, oh, yeah. Melinda, why don't you let us know what part of the world you're tuning in from? She is one of you guys, one of y'all. So he goes to look after the wolves leave. He goes to look for that Pink Floyd album under his bed. United States. Okay, very good. East Coast, West Coast. Could you just let me know what state, just so I have an idea? Right. Yeah, you had told me you're from Pennsylvania. Okay. So he went to go look for the album, and then it was gone, because that's the whole with the shape shifting. They can make something dematerialize. And so that's the story with the shapeshifter. I'm going to sign off for now. I'm wishing everyone a very happy new year, too. And I hope that you have a wonderful year, and your hopes, wishes, and dreams come true. So, Happy New Year. I will be back on next week. You can check out the videos on my channel. God bless and have a good night.